Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, peer leaders. Welcome to your FAFSA one-on-one. This FAFSA presentation is focusing on financial aid year 2023 to 2024. So those of you starting school in fall of 2023 next year, congratulations. Let's get into it. So quick reminder for everyone on the webinar today, don't share any personal information with anyone outside of your family. The FAFSA does require you and your parents' Social Security number and sensitive income data, but it does not mean that you should share it with anyone else. Protect your identity first. All right, today we have 4 simple steps. Today we're going to go over FAFSA fast facts. Then we're going to do some information gathering, followed by how do you actually complete the FAFSA, and then next steps on what you all can do for state aid, as well as how do you advocate for yourself and help your peers do the same thing. And even for those of you who have already done FAFSA events, how do you continue to do those events in your school? All right, this is the agenda. Let's go and get into it. FAFSA fast facts. What does the FAFSA actually stand for? Is it A, federal application for student aid, B, free application for federal student aid, C, free application for federal and state aid, or D, funds available for student advocates? I've heard so many different nuances of what FAFSA means. So let's clear it up today, right now. If you answered B, then you are absolutely correct. You have won the first prize of today. Please give yourselves a big round of applause. Thank y'all. Here we go. So if you plan on enrolling next fall, you will need to file the application for 2023 and the 2024 award year. That application opened up this October 1st and should be completed by March 1st, okay? Some schools distribute aid on a first-come, first-served basis. What this means is that your federal aid, you'll get that regardless of when you apply before June 30th. However, your state money goes fast, school money goes fast, right? And so you wanna make sure that you apply early, you find aid early, because those schools, they give away that money first, okay? It's a bucket of money that runs out at your school, and once it's gone, it is gone for the school year. You also need to refile FAFSA every year you are in school, okay? That's if you're in a university, trade school, or community college. If you're receiving state funds or federal funds, you need to ensure that you do this every single year, all right? Federal money determines the federal aid that you're eligible for, like Pell Grants. School money, it helps you determine what institutional aid you'll get, need-based scholarships, or even merit-based scholarships and grants. And then state money, many states use the FAFSA to award state-based grants and aid, okay? Some states require an additional aid application to access their funds. I know specifically with Maryland and Florida, you have to complete either your MD caps or your Florida Bright Future scholarships and things like that. So check with your state sites to make sure that you have everything that you need to complete and actually get that money. We're chasing the bag today, y'all. All right, so how does it work? You and your parents answer questions about your family circumstances and finances. Then at the end, you get what's called the EFC. Say it with me, EFC. That's expected family contribution. That indicates how much money that your family is eligible for financial aid or can contribute to your education. This number might not be true when we look at it and say, well, my parents can't contribute that much, but this is what the algorithm says. And based on that number, that's how much money you're awarded from states and from the federal government via your FAFSA, okay? Only the schools that you list in your FAFSA will receive that information to craft their financial aid offers, okay? So if all of your schools don't fit, you have more than 10 schools you're applying to, you want to make sure that you go back into your FAFSA once it's submitted and completed, okay? Once it's submitted and completed, and then you can update your school list to 10 more schools. So who's eligible for aid? Who's eligible to apply to the FAFSA application? United States citizens, permanent residents, eligible non-citizens, and T visa holders. If any one of these 4 categories fits you or sounds familiar and you identify with it, then you are eligible for aid. Students, peer leaders, if you are a U.S. citizen and your parent is not a U.S. citizen or does not have a social security number, you can still apply for financial aid, okay? So this is how we figure it out. If your parent is undocumented, but you're a citizen, you're eligible, you still need to enter their information. And at the end, when it asks you about signing a signature, you have to print it out. And when it asks you about the social security number, you have to place zeros within that field, okay? You want to make sure that you print it out and you send it in as early as possible because you'll need to supply additional verification documents to ensure that your application is complete. Okay, if you and your parent is undocumented, then you are not eligible for federal aid. Hold, it is okay, do not fret. You are still eligible for state and institutional-based aid. Okay, so if you're comfortable doing so, please reach out to your counselor about alternative applications in your state. You can also reach out to us, your PeerForward coaches. We are here to help you and help you navigate this, okay? Find someone who you trust, who can help you, and we can help make sure that you find the resources that you need to be successful. Just because you and your friend, parent are undocumented, that is okay. There's still a way. There is still a way. This also goes for your friends, students, peer leaders. You will have friends in your circle, in your school, who will run into these eligibility issues, right? Or not issues, but let's say challenges right now, okay? And so what we know we do with obstacles, we overcome them. So help them overcome that obstacle today. All right, so for students who are undocumented, these states allow students to receive state-based financial aid. So no matter where you live and where you graduate from, if you attend college in these states, you can be eligible for their state-based financial aid. These states also extend in-state tuition for undocumented students. Feel free to pause this video at any time, screenshot, or record to make sure that you can document this information for you all. All right, now on to the next piece, information gathering. So what do you need to complete the FAFSA? So you need these 8 different steps, okay? You need your social security number. You need an FSA ID. What's an FSA ID, Coach Cornelius? We'll tell you about it very shortly. You need, your parents need an FSA ID, okay? They need to create one too. You only need one parent to create an FSA ID. If they've already done it in the past, then they're good to go. And when I say the past, that's the past 10 years, okay? If they've created an FSA ID, if you have an older brother or sister or relative, or your parents went back to school in the past 10 years, then they should have an FSA ID. You also need your 2021 tax return and W-2. You'll need your parents' 2021 tax return and W-2s, and any records of untaxed income, okay, child support, anything of that nature. You also need current account balances, your parents' checking and savings accounts, and net worth of investments, okay? These are the things, the minimal things that you need to complete your financial aid application. So, Cornelius, Coach, who do I put on the FAFSA as my parents? So, if you live with a relative that's not your parent, so brother, grandma, friend of the family, step-parent, you would need to still provide the information for your biological parents, okay? It gets a little tricky, so we'll talk about it. But if your parents are married, then you're going to provide financial information for both of your parents. If they are remarried, then you want to provide the information for your parent and step-parent. If they are unmarried and both legal parents living together, then you want to provide both of your legal parents. If your parents are never married, then you want to provide that parent who you live with most over the past 12 months. If you split the time 6 months and evenly, 6 months and 6 months, then which parent provided more financial support for you over the last month, at 12 months? That's the parent that you would include. If your parents are divorced or separated, the same thing applies there. And if your parent is widowed, I don't live with my parents. So if you don't live with your parents, you still must report the information about them. Okay, if you're unable to provide information about your parents, you're still able to submit your FAFSA. However, you will have to submit additional documentation, and you will be still considered a dependent student. Okay, now if you have an unwilling parent, you cannot be considered as an independent student, right? Because they refuse your FAFSA. So you can still submit your FAFSA under special circumstances, but you will not get an EFC and only be considered for unsubsidized loans. So you won't be able to get aid when it comes to grants and scholarships from the federal government, but you'll be able to get that unsubsidized loan. All right. And if you have a non-citizen parent, it still doesn't impact your ability to apply. So feel free to still apply and follow the steps that we mentioned before. All right. Now, here we go into completing the FAFSA, one of my favorite parts about today. Completing the FAFSA. So first things first, you want to make sure that you go to the correct website. That's fsaid.ed.gov. You want to create a username and password called the FSAID, which is your Federal Student Aid Identification. You and your parent must complete this as we talked about before. And please use an email address that you can access once you graduate. So a personal email address, because you want to make sure that you can access this year after year after year once you go into college, trade school, or community college. Ensure your Social Security and birth date and the names on your FSA ID match exactly. That's how it's written on your tax returns and on your Social Security card. This is very important because the two speak to each other. And so you want to make sure that they align and that they're the same, whether it's the middle initial, if they ask you for your middle name, whether it's the spelling of your name, for those who have hyphens or apostrophes in their name. If it is not on your Social Security card written that way, please write it the same way. Okay, this goes for parents as well. All right, so next step, you want to start your 2023-2024 FAFSA application. If you plan to go to school in the spring for early graduation, or if you plan to start your college career or trade school career early in the summer, then you will need to complete the 2022 and 2022 to 23 FAFSA application as well, okay? But today we're going to be talking about the 2023-2024 FAFSA application. Let's go. So first things first, you want to verify your citizen status and demographics. Okay, make sure that you put that you are attending college for your first bachelor's degree if you're attending a university, a four-year university, and make sure that you put in that you'll be graduating with your high school diploma. And if you never attended college first, you want to make sure that that's listed there as well. All right, here are the 10 next steps. Step number 4, there are seven different categories in the FAFSA application. Part 2 is your school selection, okay? This is step 4 for us in the whole application process. You want to make sure you select the schools that you want to receive your FAFSA application. Remember, you can always go back and update the 10 schools once your application has been completed. So that takes about 5 to 7 business days typically for it to be completed after you submit, all right? Make sure that you include at least one in-state school. This will make sure that you're considered for state aid. So, okay, I would also put it in the first box. So your first school you select should be an in-state school. Personal recommendation from Coach Cornelius. All right, and then be sure to select on campus for your room and board and your dorm requirements. And this is simply just so that that the college can include that amount in your student aid report, okay? And so even if you're not staying on campus or you're gonna stay somewhere off campus or at home, that's fine. You still wanna be knowledgeable about how much it costs to live on campus, okay? Now, student dependency status is here. There is a list of questions that ask you about various things. The one I do wanna point out is if you are at risk of being homeless or were at risk of being homeless or self-supporting and at risk of being homeless after July 1st, 2022, then you want to make sure that you select yes to any of these questions because you would then be considered an independent student, okay? Number 6, step 6, we are now in section number 4. This is parent demographics. You want to make sure that everything in this section matches exactly what's on the FSA ID. So that's parent name, social security number, middle name, first initial, date of birth. Okay, and even the email, down to the email, has to be the same. Okay, you want to make sure that everything here is perfect, because we're going to need it later for the data retrieval tool. All right. Now, parent financials. You also want to make sure, I'm gonna go back here one step, because it's going to ask you about household size here and education. You want to make sure that your household size is correct. Okay, that is very important in determining your EFC. It's a difference if your household size is 4 versus 5. Okay, because that makes a big difference when they look at how much money that your family can provide for you and your education. All right, step 7, we are now in portion number 5. So section 5, step 7. All right, your parents can use the IRS DRT tool. This is very important because what happens is, excuse me, it links directly to the IRS, and your parents' tax returns. All that information is filled directly into your FAFSA application, so you do not have to worry about missing a step or not putting in the right information. And it just makes this process 10 times better, okay? 10 times better. You guys have to make sure, I'm coming off a video, right? Please make sure that you use the data retrieval tool. If it does not work the first time, try again. This is so important for you all. And make sure that, you know, if you're having questions, you don't know what to put in this certain box, that you can press that question mark symbol that's right on the right side of every question. And what will happen is it will give you guidance, and it'll show you exactly where to input information and to find information on your tax return if you are not using the DRT data retrieval tool. All right. Next step, we are on section 6 of your FAFSA application. This is your student financials. Okay. So within the student financials, you want to make sure that you put in your financial information. If you had a job and if you filed taxes, then you want to input that data there. Okay, this is only the information that is found on your tax returns. All right, once you complete that part about you as a student and your financials, you want to make sure that you all sign and submit it. One more thing before that, if we go back to parent financials, you also want to make sure that you do not use your home in which you stay in and live in, or your parents purchased, as an asset. Okay, that's one key thing. You don't want to insert that as an asset. It'll make sure that you hit the question mark for each question, just to make sure that you are up to date. All right, back to sign and submit. You want to make sure that you sign each of these. So students, you will need to sign and provide a student signature. This is by using your FSA ID to virtually sign or electronically sign. And then one parent, whoever you put in as parent 1, you want to make sure has the FSA ID. And so they'll then be able to sign your application. Okay. Once completed, you all will be able to review your answers before you actually submit it. All right. So make sure you review and make sure that everything is perfect. And then you will get a confirmation page. All right. So here we go. I thought we were going to remiss it. Top 10 mistakes. So top 10 things that students, parents, families, and anybody filing the FAFSA does. Right. So 1 is parents entering their information to the student section. 2, students reporting their legal guardian as a parent, incorrectly reporting the number of people in the household, not using the IRS data retrieval tool, parents reporting unemployment wages, salaries, or tips, reporting the incorrect figure for total taxes. All right. Parents reporting untaxed documents or benefits that are not required. Also, reporting the value of your family as an asset, as I mentioned before. And then updating the FAFSA with 2020 or 2022 tax information. If your status or if your life has changed since filing your 2021 taxes, what you can do is not update the information in the FAFSA application, but call the schools that you're applying to and that you submitted your financial aid to notify them of your situation. So that means if someone had lost a job, if you lost a parent, if your financial situation has changed and it's not reflected in your 2021 taxes, then you want to call and directly advocate to that school. And then lastly, parents and students not signing the FAFSA. I don't care. Please make sure that you sign your FAFSA form. There have been so many students and peer leaders who have said, I completed my FAFSA, and we go and check it and they did not sign it. So make sure that you sign and submit it so that it's delivered and that you get that email confirmation saying congratulations, all right? So don't let this happen to you. Please don't. Please don't let it happen to you. But please let this happen. Be your own advocate, okay? And so like I said, if your financial situation changed, the EFC doesn't accurately reflect your family situation, don't be afraid to reach out to those financial aid offices directly, okay? You can always advocate for more money even after the award letter arrives. All right, that doesn't just go for your colleges or university, it goes for trade schools, and it also goes for scholarships, okay? Make sure that you advocate for yourself. All right, next steps for us is that, being your best advocate goes deeper than just calling the financial aid office, but it's also reaching out to those resources you have accessibility to or access to every day. And that goes to your advisor, your coach, or your counselor at your school for assistance. There are FAFSA walkthrough videos on YouTube. Just go and search FAFSA walkthrough video 2023-2024 school year. They'll pop up. Just pick your favorite one. There's an FSA chat box called Aiden. So if you go to studentaid.gov, Aiden will pop up on the side. You can ask Aiden any question regarding your financial aid application. And then we also have the PeerForward Toolkit. Check us out. We're resources for students who are undocumented, as well as resources for you and your team. And then we also have linkforward.org, which is where we house our apps and applications in which we partner with various companies, because we know that these applications or apps can help you all on your college and career journey. All right. Now, peer leaders, I'll leave you with this. Bring a FAFSA event to your school. Right now, many of you have already done that. Shouts out to you all, but let's continue to do it, right? Let's make it bigger. How can we make it better? How can we get more students there? How can we help more people change the trajectory of their lives? And that's by helping them find aid, which we like to call financial aid, all right? So find your allies, set your dates, refine your agenda, reserve the space, okay? And then invite peers and families, do it ahead of time. Use emails, use social media, big mouth, call outs, whatever you want to do to get people in the building. Sometimes you might have to feed them or incentivize them to get them there after school. So whatever you have to do it, let's get it done, because FAFSA can change their life, all right? So remember to check your state aid. Don't let that money go unclaimed. Remember, a lot of money is left on the table literally year after year. So if you don't know about your state aid, reach out to your counselor or your advisor or your PeerForward coach, and we can help you with state aid applications or steps that you need to take to be eligible for state aid. That goes for Maryland, Florida, New York, and DC. We all know that you have additional applications. So don't let that be you to miss out on that money. So last things first things last. We are done for the day, but please get that credit for participating today. Please complete the short 5-minute survey. It's not a quiz, but it is a quiz. All right, that indicates your participation in PeerForward's webinar series. Once you are done, please enter the code 4554 once you're done with your survey and your quiz. Hey, y'all, appreciate y'all for hanging out with me today, tonight, this afternoon, this evening, wherever you are on the East Coast, West Coast, Hawaii, Bermuda, down south, Florida, New York, Maryland, Michigan, Texas. Shouts out to y'all, man. Thank y'all for participating and listening to me today. Coach C, thank you for your time. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I know y'all got Facebooks, and on LinkedIn, man. I'll check in with y'all next time. Good luck on your financial aid journey. Peace out.